Hey, y'all, come on in. You're here on a great day. This is a bottle of the original Shulton Formula Old Spice from the 1960s, perhaps the greatest American aftershave ever created.
And the signature scent of Douglas Smythe.
So they've created some flankers at PAA over the years, Cold Spices, Oud Spice. But today, Douglas Smythe takes on his great white whale. Welcome to Outer Spice.
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
But on Wednesdays and Saturdays...
we're the Barbershop Duet!
Hey, y'all, come on in. Thank you for finding our little barbershop. If you happen to be here during one of the live premieres on YouTube, why, come on in the live chat. Meet the Whiff Pack. Cool group of friends hanging out from all over the world. They'd love to meet you, too.
They would, and for our mention today, Douglas and Fran were so sweet to include a Tube 2.0 travel pre-shave soap and lather booster. Tube 2.0 is the travel-friendly evolution of our legendary Cube 2.0 pre-shave soap. It uses the exact same formula and delivers the same performance, but in a compact, low-profile design built for real-world use.
The pre-shave that started it all. A Phoenix Shaving fun fact. Back in 2014, we invented the first pre-shave soap and even coined the term lather booster. Pre-shave soap is a PAA innovation created to solve the problems many shavers experienced with pre-shave oils.
Tube 2.0 is a performance-enhancing layer that improves every part of the shave by increasing slickness, glide, protection, and hydration. It works with any shave soap or cream you already use and instantly elevates it. It makes a crappy shave soap better and a great shave soap epic.
Ooh, it's black like the original Cube.
Ooh.
Love it. Pre-shave soap rinses clean and does not leave buildup on razors or brushes. There is no risk of oils lingering inside of knots or going rancid over time. Using the Tube 2.0 is simple. Wet your face with warm water and rub the tube directly into the beard area. Massage it in circular motions, then rinse lightly. Apply it again before building your lather, working it in first in circles and then gently against the grain. This helps lift the hair slightly and increase water retention, giving the blade more surface area to cut cleanly.
Tube 2.0 delivers the same epic slickness and lather boosting performance as Cube 2.0 in a handy-dandy travel-ready format, while still being perfectly suited for daily use at home.
And they're right. I use my Cube on every shave, but I've never used these. What a great idea. And what is our soap today?
A new release as epic can get. Let's meet it.
All right, y'all, from the sales page at Phoenix, Artisan Accoutrements, Outer Spice, homage to an icon, or what I almost called Shulton's and Shut Up.
Real talk, I've been a Bay Rum guy for about 26 years, but before that, long before Phoenix shaving was even a glimmer in my sun-shaded eyes, there was Old Spice. And not the version sold today under the same name. I'm talking about Shulton's Old Spice, or as the Schnurds called it, Shulton's. That was my very first aftershave at age 15, and it left a permanent imprint on my soul. Possibly who or what to blame for my interest in fragrances today.
Back then, Old Spice wasn't just a novelty or a punchline in a flashy commercial. It was simply what men wore. You smelled it on our fathers, grandfathers, teachers, barbers, scout leaders, coaches, even drum teachers. It lived in heavy glass bottles on porcelain sinks, and one splash carried real authority. It shaped how an entire generation understood grooming and growing up. This is very true. My grandfather had two things in his medicine cabinet, a toothbrush and a bottle of Shulton's Old Spice.
Shulton introduced Old Spice for men in 1938, and the timing could not have been more significant. As World War II unfolded, Old Spice became closely tied to the American servicemen. It traveled overseas in duffel bags and footlockers, splashed on before leave, before dates, before dances, and before shipping out again. When the war ended, millions of men returned home carrying the scent with them. Old Spice didn't just survive the war years, but in my humble opinion, it was forged in them. And you get that in the first whiff.
The post-war era cemented Old Spice as an American institution. Through the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, and well into the 70s, the formula remained remarkably consistent. Rich spice, floral backbone, warm amber depth, and refined, iconic epicness. It was bold without being harsh, and comforting without being soft. Spend any time in the shave groups and you'll see folks saying the same thing. The vintage Shulton stuff simply had more presence. Seriously, I don't think anyone has ever requested a dupe of modern Old Spice.
Fun fact, Old Spice actually began as a women's fragrance. In 1937, Schulten released early American Old Spice as a perfume for women. The men's aftershave followed a year later in 1938 and quickly eclipsed the original. That women's launch is why the fragrance always carried a refined floral spine beneath the spice. Carnation was never an accident.
The year the scent faded away. Everything came to a screeching halt in 1990 when Procter & Gamble acquired Old Spice from Schulten. In a short time after the sale, reformulations followed, driven by modern regulations, cost-cutting, and shifting trends. The current version may have the same name, but anyone who's used the original knows it's a very different animal. The bottom line often destroys art, no?
Out of respect and for over a decade, I've danced around this scent. Cold Spices was our mentholated take, and when we released it, less than a handful of artisans were even attempting anything Old Spice inspired. Later came Oud Spice. It was done more as a study than a true tribute. I always stopped short of doing a straight homage. It felt too obvious, too personal.
And then, in the throes of our recent 2026 feel-good releases of Shave Crowd favorites, it just made sense. Outer Spice was born. Outer Spice is a straight-up homage to Schulten's Old Spice. No cooling agents, no modern twists, no reimagining. Just a respectful reconstruction built from appreciation, passion, and lived experience by someone who was steeped in this scent through his formative years. It's in my damn DNA, man.
The fragrance. The opening is bright and familiar with citrus, lemon, bergamot, nutmeg, and clary sage. The heart delivers the unmistakable notes of geranium, lavender, carnation, pimento berry, and jasmine. The base settles into warm vanilla, amber, woods, spice, musk, and tonka, grounding the fragrance exactly the way the original did. And then some.
If you wore Schulten's Old Spice, this will take you back immediately. If someone you loved wore it, you'll recognize this just as fast. Outer Spice is not nostalgia cosplay. It's a tribute to a fragrance that marched through history, crossed oceans, came home, threw back a whiskey, and helped define what men's fragrance once was. And this time, we're doing it without compromise. Shave on. Well, y'all, the day many of us have waited for has finally arrived. Let's open the box. Well, that box looks like it's been through the ringer. No, actually, it's been to Texas, Florida, Massachusetts, Alberta, Canada for a while. We're not sure why it decided to go around the world in 80 ways, but it did. And it arrived unharmed on the inside. Now, I asked Mr. Bedford when he offered to show me the label. I wanted to see it live here on the show for the first time.
See.
Oh, I love it! It's Jimmy Cooper, and it's blue and green, and he's got a sack like Santa Claus, y'all. The fish are there. The boat's
there.
Is there because it's Old Spice.
Yeah.
It's nautical. Oh, that's gorgeous. And the cube, of course, regulating things from above.
It almost looks like he just arrived, like he's approaching
I
us.
love the Santa vibe. And here is your splash box, y'all. If you've never read the back, you should.
I think the red is more an homage to the red Old Spice writing, is why he's in the suit.
I'm going Santa. And look at that! Oh, this is my favorite label of the last year, I think, y'all. It is beautiful. And look, it's a little bit cloudy. We're curious why some of these have a little cloud to them. And y'all, as long as we're opening the box, let me show you how this came. This was glass, so it came in a protective styrofoam outer layer that opens like this, and there is your decanter. Now, this is the little sticker, the proof of purchase that went on the bottom. We have to reattach it. And this is how it came. Now, this has been in the back of a very dark closet in Hayward, California, in a climate-controlled house for the last 45 years, and it is just about as perfect a specimen as you can get. And I am so excited to compare these two when we have our first impression. Now, y'all, just to touch briefly on some of our other favorite homages to Old Spice, this is the Sterling one, Sterling Spice. I love it, but for me, it's got kind of a rocky, sandy part in the middle where the original goes a little bit more boozy and sweet. Yeah. Somehow this goes rocky
a little
and
green,
sandy.
Maybe?
Yeah, right. And then this one's iconic. This is Spice from Barrister and Man. You know what this does? This takes the original, for me, and breaks it into 3 very distinct accords, and then puts those accords back together. So I kind of get a deconstructed Schulten's Old Spice from this.
This one has a little bit more depth, a little darker on the bottom base notes. I get a little more out of this one.
Right. But still that rockiness, that sandiness kind of in the middle for me. Cold Spices from PAA remains my favorite and what I think is the most faithful to the original, but I think the sweetness of the menthol helps. I think that's what kind of cancels out that sandy rockiness in the middle. But I am so excited to have my first impression
you gotta go
of
first.
Outer Spice because it's a brand new formulation from the ground up. All right, let's see what we've got here. Taking it in. There's the pour for those who like to see such things. All right, here we go, y'all. The shaken clam. Oh, y'all! Y'all! This is crazy close, but here's why it's different from everything else I've smelled before. Everything else I've smelled before, it all seems to be kind of centered. It's a big Old Spice bomb. My nose takes in everything at once. This is different. This is wider. My nose is actually experiencing Old Spice through the scent pyramid. I'm getting top notes. I'm getting mid notes first. And then once I get that beautiful carnation spine, and as the son of a funeral director from the 70s and 80s, I can tell you I know that spicy carnation scent. It was pretty much the only flower that was used around here for 10 years. It is stunning because then when I'm standing there experiencing the florals, the other senses come in from both sides. I don't have to take this in as one vantage point. I can step in to this scent, y'all, and look around. Wow, hold on. And my Achilles heel for Old Spice homages is that rocky, sandy part in the middle, and I bring you glad tidings of great joy. The rocky sandiness is still there a bit, but it's been shifted. It's not in the same part of the accord anymore, and I'm able to sense the boozy, syrupy sweetness that I was looking for in the middle. And then the sandiness kind of sits over to the right among the top notes. Somehow, brilliant. Well, I guess here's why I'm excited. You can tell that this is not Rich Little doing an impression, if that makes sense, because your eye immediately goes to how isn't he Johnny Carson? This is so representative of the original that I can just step inside and enjoy taking it in as its own thing, as its own creation, much like the original. I'm not looking at something doing an impression. And I think the proof of that is that I can sense each of the individual scent notes, but not at the same level. The carnation's been turned up, the tonka's been turned down, so that I'm getting like a musical phrase in my head when I hear these singers. I keep looking for its tell. I keep looking for the part of this that's going to give it away, how I can distinguish this from the original. And while my nose is certainly walking through this house of mirrors, finding where the boundaries are, I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out how this isn't the original. And that's rare. The only other time we've experienced that is the revamp of Sacre Bleu, and comparing that to the original Aqua Velva that her grandpa also had in the closet next to this. Wow. Well, like sometimes an homage can get ruined for me, like when you notice it's your dad's eyes inside the Santa costume, and then that's all you can see is your dad doing an impression. I keep looking for that, but I can't find it. You open those Stephen Sondheim books, and the first thing it says is God is in the details. Y'all, that's what's happening here. I guess, last thought, in all of the other homages that we've smelled, there's one part that really gives the sweet. And what's making this work for me is there's 6 different things, each adding their individual sweet. I think that's where some of the other homages fail, is they're like, turn up the carnation, that's the sweet. No, the sweet comes from the tonka. The sweet comes from all of it. And you know what? It's able to recreate the one thing about Old Spice that's really hard to recreate for me. It's charm. There's a reason that it's older than all of our grandparents are, y'all. It's amazing. And that accord holds within it not only our history, but the history of our perfuming journey. I don't think there's a single aftershave on the market today that doesn't stand on the shoulders of this DNA at least a little. And with all of the scent notes equally sharing the weight of the sweet, equally sharing the weight of the spice, that's what the original did. And that's what this is recreating for the first time. In my journey, I have smelled something that's doing what the original did. Douglas and Fran, boy, my hat is off. This is exceptional. Take it in, see what you get.
All right. Back in time we go, Lenny. Here's our whiff. I think there's something that's fresher about this. I feel like I'm back in time smelling when it first came out because like that one we have, it's in here, but it's aged and it's kind of changed a little over time. Not in a bad way, but that's like as close as we could get without having the original. This makes me feel like I could have been walking down the aisle when the Schulten formula was originally sold. There's something a little more green, a little brighter, a little fresher, almost like fresh breeze air off the ocean. Like there's something about that layer hitting the spices that I think for me is the main difference. I do like all the other homages we have, and they all have little parts to them that are kind of like their little key in, like you were talking about. This is the closest we've gotten to this, but it's a lighter, brighter daytime. It hasn't been in the closet for 40 years waiting to be whiffed. This came right off the shelf. The spice is what's different for me. It doesn't smell Old Spice. Gotcha. It's spice. Does that make sense somehow? Like it's fresh, it's real, like they just bottled the herbs somehow. Right. That part's turned up because I think the way my brain remembers this scent is almost everyone around me that I would smell it on. So it kind of has a base of this, but then it adds that person's identity scent into it somehow. So it's very cool to get a whiff of this on its own and see how it still has a standing today. I love that it did come back, but this so far I think is as close as we could get. If we could go back in time and be smelling it right off the shelf, I do have to say, I can smell the difference.
Agreed. And we haven't even smelled the splash yet. This is just how it's sitting in the soap. But I think that's indicative of how beautifully the PAA CK6 formula holds the scent. It's just about transparent.
I would agree, because after smelling some of the other ones in their bases, the Artisan base itself almost added to the scent for me.
Sterling.
Where this is kind of like a stripped down version. It's just letting it shine on its own. To me, this is more that masculine portion that they were talking about on the sales page. Yeah. It has that age. It has men that wore this for years. Just that kind of confidence standing next to you. Someone's protecting you. Like that part of the masculine scent is coming through. Not that I wouldn't use it, but to me, it has more of that cozy nostalgia vibe that brings me back to thinking of those people in my world that wore this. Right. I oddly get less of the carnation. I get less of the florals in this than I do in some of the other homages. I went in looking for it, and to me, I was getting much more of those herby spices in a different way than some of the other ones. So I'm sure it's in here, but it's just funny. The other parts of the spice are shining more in Outer Spice for me than a lot of the other ones, where I think I got more of the sweetness and more of the carnation had like more of a backbone than this one does. For me, the sweets in here just go a little bit more to that amber, dried, rocky kind of a thing, like almost a talky tone is what I'm getting. Right. It doesn't go as sweet. Some of the other ones I got more of like a honeyed something, like a little almost approaching gourmandy sweet. This is a much drier, raw version. Part of me just wants to skip to the splash part because I want to know.
I'm watching it right here.
Because I like getting in here, but I'm so ready to see how all of the liquid formulations connect to each other. All right, it's time for me to look at the scent notes and build a lather and see what's happening here.
All right, y'all, back to the sales page at Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. We start with top notes of citrus and lemon. Separate scent notes in here. I'm not getting the sour part of the lemon. I'm only kind of getting the outside rindy sweet part.
I think that just added a little more of the daytime vibe for me than I was expecting, almost earlier in the day.
And then a defining spice for Old Spice, nutmeg, along with bergamot, going back to a little bit of a citrusy vibe there. Clary, sage. Love it. Think the Watcher.
I get more of the clary sage part, that drier herbiness. To me, that's what my nose was catching first.
Right. And I think the clary sage in the top is what's binding with the sweets as we start to go deeper into the middle notes of geranium, lavender, and carnation. A little bit of a divergence here for a quick allspice in a pimento berry form, and then back to jasmine for your floral spine of these middle notes. Absolutely beautiful. And each one I can kind of sense separately. Can you kind of sense the geranium and the jasmine separately?
I think that's what's balanced better in this version, because normally my brain catches the carnation and I can't get away from it. Right. These other florals are actually having a moment, like you were saying, it was more spread out. I think that's where that's actually helping. And I think the pimento berry is almost the clary sage ride for me. I almost hit that berry, which is why my brain doesn't get all the florals right away.
Right. Yeah, something herby that can go along next to the florals on the way down. I think the jasmine and the geranium are best friends, and I think the lavender and carnation are also best friends in a different corner of this barbershop, and then they kind of go together when you stand in the middle.
Bottom notes, we have vanilla and amber, which I definitely get along with tonka. Then the other three are kind of up for your interpretation. We have woody, spice, and musk.
I love that he mentioned that this was kind of an amber accord, because I'm not looking for that. But once I really experience this as maybe an amber-based scent, I can really wander off from there and discover the other things going on. It's kind of the table that the others are standing on.
But the amber to me doesn't get as honeyed. Some of the other ones have that part getting sweeter. This is more that dry, deeper amber so that the wood, spices, and musks have a moment.
And this might be part of the magic. I don't think the amber's adding the sweet. I'll say that again. I think that's where the others kind of go rocky in the middle accidentally. I think that's not what's adding the sweet. I think the amber is being a little bit more savory here somehow.
It's a little more raw, like drier sweet somehow.
And for this iconic scent, I decided to get my original OG shaving brush out of the cabinet. This is my Atomic Rocket from PAA, my very first grown-up shaving brush. And this is the lather lid from PAA. It screws right on the top of your favorite PAA soaps, a bunch of other artisans as well, and then goes right into your check bag. Check this out, y'all. You just need a little bit of water from the Memorial Bougie Sprayer here from Sean and Julie, and the lather man cometh. And this is something you will only find here in the Barbershop Duet, y'all. This is the Schultons and Shut Up With. On 3, 1, 2. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Smell this in the lather. That's insane. That's insane how close that is. I even want to do this now. I was going to save this for when we went deeper, but hold on a second. I'm actually going to compare the original to the soap itself. You ready? Yeah. On 3, 1, 2. Okay, smell that. Smell that. Got it. Got it. Smell that. Y'all, that is threateningly close. This is a tiny bit more boozy sweet for me, but just 5%. The rest of all of that spice, the rest of all of that structure is incredibly intact. And y'all, we love watching our new Rabbit Shaves channel, our friend Damon Bond on YouTube, but we don't do shaving here in the Barbershop Duet. We thought you might like to see what this lather looks like when it goes on my face. Y'all, bring me a blade. It's not like looking at an impressionist. It's just like looking at Johnny Carson, and then Johnny Carson if he were 1 inch shorter. That's the only difference. All right, y'all, well, come along with us. This is the part we've all been waiting for. We're going to compare the splash A, B, and really go back in time. All right, y'all, and it is the winter, so we are pretty sure that the plug is going to be the restrictor on the aftershave today. All you got to do is get your fingernail under the plug just a little bit and pull up sharply. You're going to hear a fun little sound, and the plug is going to come right up. You ready? 1, 2. Ah, there you go. Some of the boys have a little trouble with the plug. I know Douglas actually has Fran do it for him. All right, and here we go. Y'all, a little of that golden juice going on our faces. A little something there, a little extra something there.
I feel like everyone always tries to preserve the splash on these. Right. So it's nice to know we have a brand new one that we can use.
Oh, the booziness, the sweetness, the spice, the carnation. It's all here.
It almost helps me understand all of the other homages that people have done to this. Like, I can see what parts were just a little bit louder in some of the other ones. As this is drying down, it just helps translate that.
I'd like to be alone for a minute.
Oh, Lainey likes it too.
Well, just experiencing how all the notes are coming together in the open air. We don't use our unobtainium, so I don't usually get to experience this. This is wild.
Wow, I'm getting even like the lemon and the other parts that I didn't even remember are in here. As this is drying down, they're all having moments.
Oh, and it just gets better as it dries. Are you smelling this? A little bit of cinnamon coming out. That tonka, the nutmeg is fabulous.
That gentle, sweet, almost powdery moment is also the final end of the whiff here.
Y'all?
Yeah?
I just realized. This is going to be in a full line.
Yes.
We can get a cube. We can get a bar soap. We can get an EMP. I guess here's why I'm getting a little emotional. My grandpas were very sweet. And the one that wore this was also a little spicy. He was not the one that really would take us to the ball games and things, but he was still a great grandpa. And unless you were able to see all of those pieces exactly, you might not get that. And with this, being able to smell all of these pieces exactly really does bring him back in a way that these other homages don't. God really is in the details.
It's like when your brain has it in mind and you're just trying to find that exact thing. Things can get close after all the years.
Yeah.
But having one that actually gets the closest that your memory could even remember.
Right.
That's where it hits the nostalgia.
It's like hearing his real voice instead of hearing AI do his voice. If that makes sense. Now, let me do something a little bold.
Okay.
Let me actually, for the first time, put on a little Sultan Formula Old Spice.
We never use
on
it. We
one
just
cheek,
smell it.
right? We just rub it with a
just smell
diaper
it.
and see if that cheek is the same as the other. Here we go. Oh.
I mean, it's had a few years to it.
Right.
You know.
I mean, you can kind of sense that.
Yeah.
You can kind of sense that this is older than my
Not
parents.
rancid, but it just changes a little.
Yeah. Oh, y'all, the heart is there. Here's something you will only find here in the Barbershop Duet. This is the turn the other cheek whiff. On three. Smell here. And then ready? And.
Yeah, this one has a little more of that ambery, almost boozy part that comes
Right.
through
Just
over
a
the
touch.
years. Yeah.
So it's pretty simple. Y'all just be Marcus and Sarah, two wet shaving hobbyists on a quest to recapture some of the scents that our grandparents wore. And you're going to love your Old Spice homages. Sterling's going to do a fabulous job. The spices in this are amazing. And Barrister and Man is going to knock your socks off with kind of a deconstructed version. Whew, but just about the time that Schulten expert Douglas Smythe dusts off his lab coat and takes a swing at the original formula, you are going to get your own. So head over to their website at phoenixartisanaccoutrements.com, or even better, do it by way of the link in the description. It's an affiliate link, which lets them know that we sent you, and it gives us back a small percentage of the sale, which we'll probably spend on soap so we can make more episodes. It's at no cost to you, and we would be grateful. Well, I've had my shave, y'all, with Outer Spice, and I think I'm just about ready to declare this my favorite homage currently to the original Schulten formula. I love that it's not identical. I love that there are a few things in the original that I can sense a little bit sweeter, a little bit boozier. But y'all, it's only from which angle you're looking at it. I only see the difference if I am burning this with my nose. Otherwise, I am steeped in the nostalgia of how these notes are coming together exactly the way the original did, with, as Sarah noted, a bit of a freshness that the original might have had, that these 70-year-old samples might be lacking a little bit. Douglas and Fran, thank you for this and for putting it in just about one of the best bases in the wet shaving world. We will be back for some more surprises soon.
Welcome to our February messages.
Hey, also in honor of our recent interview on Instagram with Chris Cullen from Katie's Bubbles, he has generously offered to sponsor our February giveaway of one premium soap from the Katie's Bubbles line for free. And all you have to do to be eligible for this giveaway is send us an email here to we sent you at thebarbershopduet.com so we can get back to you. It's the only way we communicate about our giveaways, and then check back on our first March episode to see if you are our lucky winner.
Best of luck.
I am so excited.
I can tell, just
for
a little
this,
bit.
just how close this got. Because it didn't have to. It didn't have to. If this had been 80% as good as it is, it still would have been phenomenal. But y'all, this is 90, 95%. That unbelievable character of the originals that all of the aftershaves of today owe a debt of thanks to. And we owe a debt of thanks to y'all for recreating this so faithfully.
I'm actually excited to spend more time with this one next to the other ones that we have too, because I think the parts of the other ones where they were just toned up a little higher in different portions, it's going to be interesting to see how they actually blend here overall. Like, that's going to be the fun part for me.
And y'all, we're going to break a little rule here. Generally, homages are not eligible for our masterpiece designation, but for all of the reasons covered in today's episode, it would be an absolute crime not to include Outer Spice in our 2026 Masterpiece Collection. Congratulations, Douglas and Fran. Very much deserved.
Thank you so much for also including the Tube 2.0s. We're going to have fun getting to know those.
And Douglas and Fran and Phoenix Shaving, thank you so much for sending this out to us for free to review and believing in our little show. Boy, we sure believe in you.
Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You'll smell so much better just watching this!